It was a feat like no other. Some 20 corporate trainers challenged themselves to a task of building a floating deck made out of used plastic bottles. After months of planning, the group arrived at the orchard the company owned some 20 minutes away from Raut town in Pahang for construction work to begin. Joe and I arrived at the site 2 days later to find a company of friendly, sweaty corporate trainers braving the heat and rain in an earnest attempt to build the floating raft all by themselves.
Personally, I think there were two things that we were basically thinking about. One was a conservation effort, an environmental effort, an opportunity for us as a company to display our commitment to ensuring a good future for the next generations. We also wanted to send a message strongly to our employees of the organization that the company was serious about things like that, and we weren't just talking about it or using it as a publicity propaganda.
The group divided themselves in 3 major sections: the construction team, the bottles team, and the interior design team.
So as you can see, the project is about using as many recycled materials as possible to build a floating deck, and it's to be converted into a fine dining restaurant. But the most important thing that we want to make sure right now is that it floats, okay? So we've got thousands of used bottles at the site there to get dialysis bottles also as well. And we've had a lot of people helping us out with that. Actually, one of the most exciting parts for us was the process in which we arrived to this stage. Because we've never done anything like this before. To us, it's a huge project. We're not any construction firm. We don't have any skills at all in carpentry.
So it's hands-on.
It's all hands-on.
After several hours of work, the base of the deck was finally taking shape. And now for the crucial question: will the deck really float with recycled bottles?
I'm very optimistic that it will float. I'm quite sure it will. The question is, how are we going to get it onto the water? It's not a matter of whether it will float, but how do we get it there for it to float? That's the biggest problem that we have at this point in time.
With a lot of optimism, the group continued to work on the deck. But at the crucial moment, the team realized the deck was getting a little too heavy for them to lift. Tensions ran high as the group leader gave a deadline for the base to be floating on the pond by the end of the day. The teams had to think on their feet for a solution to make the deck light enough for them to be able to lift. Planks were removed and nets were used to hold the 3,000 used bottles. The day was getting shorter as the self-appointed construction workers made their attempt to push the deck into the pond.
Ready? 1, 2, lift! My leg, hurry up! Okay. On my mark!
We held our breath as the camera records their every move. Inch by inch, and finally the deck was in the pond. After 3 days of hard labor, it was now time to celebrate their victory.